For possibly the last time this year, my name is Graham Nichols.
And I am Mark. I'm loving the Christmas season, Bentham.
And I'm Josh Bannister, and you're listening to Ordinary. And it's definitely, I mean, I'm not doing another episode this year, so unless you're doing a little solo one there, Graham, a little solo sing-song.
No, I don't think so. You know, there might be a greatest hits one that, you know, our producer puts out for New Year's Eve or something, you know, for all our...
That would be good, wouldn't it?
That would be good, actually.
Yeah.
Or the bloopers, but we don't really make any
Yes.
bloopers. All the bloopers we make are actually on the main reel, so...
That's true, we don't cut them out. They're all in there.
So there's probably no greatest hits, no bloopers.
No bleeps.
No, there's definitely no bleeps to bleep out. Yes.
Well, listen, it's gonna be a fun time because we've got.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh,
is it really?
It's gonna be a really fun
Is it?
time.
Is it?
Yeah. Because we're gonna talk about Christmas. We're gonna talk about what we love about
I've
Christmas.
got festive orange juice.
Nice,
Which is making
okay.
it feel very festive.
I thought it was
I got some
eggnog.
chocolate buttons.
Nice.
Which may or may not be too noisy to eat, but I'll be eating them at some point. And then.
And I've got water.
Yeah, that's pretty lame, isn't it? It's not really.
And you're Mr. Father Christmas, so come on.
Hey, don't let the secret
You
out.
could have gone and got a little festive hot chocolate from down the road. That would have been
I could have
lovely.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to talk about Christmas, and then we're going to talk about perhaps some reflections on the year, because it's been another crazy year, 2021, with lots and lots and lots going on, and oh man, so many things to reflect on, I guess. And then we have a little present each that we're going to open from our producer Isaac, who's given. I don't know what it is. I'm hoping you guys don't know what it is either. So that's going to
We
be
do not.
real exciting for us.
I didn't get one.
But delayed gratification. Yes, you did. I've seen it. But delayed gratification. We're gonna hold off on the old presents until.
What?
Yeah,
that's like the worst Christmas day ever. Like, you just have to wait.
You're not a Christmas Eve present opener, are you?
What are you going to make your son do? Wait until like after lunch? to open his
No,
presents?
but definitely no.
Oh,
Not after lunch, but
man.
definitely not Christmas Eve. Like, I know some people do a little. Oh, let's have a little cheeky
okay,
one on
fair
Christmas Eve. No, save it for the morning.
Can't do that in our household. Christmas Eve is Roz's birthday, so we don't do it.
Steal the thunder.
Can't move into Christmas too quick.
Are you, Mark, in your family, are you a before Christmas service or after Christmas service present opening?
Way before Christmas service.
Way before.
Yeah.
6 a.m.
Right, before breakfast. Let's open.
That's how we used to be, but nowadays it's all kind of like after dinner, after breakfast.
After dinner.
Yeah,
We
after
do
lunch.
have another. We have two present opening sessions. You have the one before breakfast, which is kind of like, you know, immediate family, those kind of presents, Santa presents, all that kind of jazz. And then after Christmas, after lunch, like from the wider family, that kind of jazz.
Yeah. That jazz. No, that's good. That's a good system. I respect that. Do you do stockings?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay,
You need a little
fair enough.
stocking, don't you?
Yeah, we bought a stocking for Clay this year because, actually, do you know what? Bless my mum. She thinks that I'm not all upset because we never did stockings as kids growing up, which I'm not. I don't care about it. But she thinks I'm sad about it, so she bought a stocking for Clay. So Clay's got a stocking this year. Not that I think he's going to really care, but
So your mum's upset that mum thinks that you're
Yeah.
upset, but buys Clay one, not you.
yeah, that's the way it's worked out.
I was thinking you were going to go there, that she brought Clay one, and because she thought I'd missed out, she bought me
Yeah,
one as well
that's a
now.
good point.
But you still miss out, Josh.
Yeah, I still miss out. Well,
Oh, mate.
but I can do the classic thing of living out my dreams through my child. Isn't that the point of having a child?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so
And it gets better when they get older, because then you can really enjoy the things that they actually get.
yeah, buy them presents that you want. Is that how it works?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Presents to share,
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
games
Presents
you
to
want to
share.
play, toys
Games
that
you
you
want to play,
with.
electronic toys, exactly, that you think, oh, that was cool. Wish that was when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Let's
like
get it.
I'm thinking about getting Clay some new golf clubs this year.
I'm sure he'd appreciate them.
It's a good investment.
Yeah, and if they get used in the meantime, that's just added value, isn't it? So, you know.
Absolutely.
Buy him a new basketball. That's a bit closer
That's
to home,
true.
and you could try it out in
Yeah.
the next few years.
Yeah, try it out. Yeah.
Make sure it's working.
What's your top Christmas memory? That's what I want to know. What's your best Christmas ever? If you had a quintessential Christmas, was there one? Because I know what I'd say.
Cheekily, I'm going to say this, but actually, I really enjoyed last year when it was just the four of
Did
us. Yeah, it was just the quietness. I don't think we've ever had it where it was. I enjoyed it. That's not to say I don't enjoy the other Christmases with the wider family, just to clarify.
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy just the four of us. It was different.
Yeah.
It was so different. That's what made it stand
Yeah,
out.
that's nice. G-Man?
Well, I think I'd have to go back right to my childhood.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had lots of nice Christmases in between, but one that like sticks out in the memory was we were allowed to stay up. My nan was staying, and we watched Wuthering Heights, which is a bit of a dramatic film. You know, Heathcliff and all that. You know, and what's she called? Kathy, who is a ghost, isn't it? And she kind of reappears, and Heathcliff dies at the end and goes off into the sunset with her and stuff. Anyway,
Have you
we were allowed
just
to
spoilt
stay
the
up.
film?
Pardon?
Have you just spoilt it?
I have
So now
spoiled the
when I
film,
wanna
but
watch it-
it's a classic book.
Put a
that
warning
most
on the
people
front
know.
end. Carry on.
My point
Yeah.
is that we were allowed to watch it. It was on like terrestrial live TV, and it clocked over the midnight. So as a child, being allowed to stay up beyond midnight on Christmas Eve was like amazing. And it was like 12:05 or something. It finished, and I just remember the excitement of, wow, it's actually Christmas Day. It's actually Christmas Day, and we've got to go to bed, and that is so exciting. But I can't sleep because I'm so excited
Oh.
because it's Christmas Day already.
Oh.
And do I even need to go to bed? So I remember that. It's one of those stupid, you know. I can't even remember how old I was. It's just one of those things that just sticks in your mind.
That's not stupid. That's beautiful.
Where you're allowed to stay up late.
It's like all those little memories, isn't it? It's like just made me think about all the joys of Christmas. Used to be the fact that only classic films used to come
Yeah.
on, that you then try and record them on your VHS tape so you could watch them
Yeah.
at other and say that you got them because they only came on at Christmas. You know, Indiana Jones, the Bonds, you know, all those classics.
yeah.
But now
And
they're
you had
just on
things
telly all
of
the
people
time.
accidentally recording over you. Did you ever that? You got a
Yeah,
classic
terrible.
film where someone records the news over the top of something, or something really terrible,
Oh,
where
yeah.
they didn't mark it. They didn't write in pen. You know that they just recorded
This is what it
Indiana
was.
Jones or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh, the good old days.
memories.
Yeah, there's none of
Memories.
that now.
No.
It's all very instant now. It's
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
kind of good.
You just have to wait. You know, Star Wars movies came on at Christmas. You know, the joys.
No, it's all on demand now. It's all on demand. That's why.
And Radio Times used to be exciting. I still have to get a Radio
Yeah,
Times just
I
for those
remember.
reasons, really, just so I can have a look. You know what is
Yeah.
on.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
I'm you know, old enough to remember looking through the TV listings and like. I remember us highlighting certain things. Probably that didn't go on for many years for me, but like I do remember that.
No, definitely.
Yeah, it's good
It
times.
used to be a 2-week edition of Radio
Yeah.
Times at Christmas, didn't
Yeah,
it?
I think it still is actually, Grant. Still
Really?
is. Yeah, I know.
Now
Woo!
I
this
don't
is
even have a TV
hitting
license.
the heights of ordinary recording now, isn't it? You know.
Now, you are a classic of your generation that you
yeah.
don't have a TV license.
I have all of the on-demand services, and I just watch what I want. No adverts. When I see an advert these days, it offends me deeply.
There's something still quite nice about an advert.
That's the dilemma of ITV, because ITV, you can pay a subscription, but there's one or two good shows on ITV, and you have the pain of having to sit through the
Oh,
advert.
it is a pain. I hate it. So yeah, it's a thing of the past.
It does give you a chance to make a cup of tea, get a snack.
That's true.
That's what
Okay.
Caroline says.
You know, toilet break. There are advantages.
That's true. But there is a pause button.
I'm
on
extremely
Netflix.
continent, Mark. I don't need a toilet break through a whole extended version film.
It's a weird boast.
Just so our listeners know.
Well, you know, lucky you.
Bit arrogant, isn't he?
But I need a toilet break now, though. All that orange
You've got to
juice,
hold it.
it's
That's
gone
your
straight
punishment. Your arrogance. All right, let's have a little a reflective period now. I want to know how you feel about 2021. Obviously, it's been some highs and lows, really, in terms of the way things have gone politically or health-wise, and probably obviously loads of personal stuff as well. But like, what are your reflections on the year? I know it's a big thing to ask, so whoever's ready, jump in first with some sort of 2021 reflections.
I suppose on the big COVID story, rather than going personal, but our connection with the COVID story is it kind of, the year began in sort of gloom and darkness,
Yeah.
because we were in the middle of another lockdown, and then it got more and more optimistic going towards Easter, and we got kind of gradually released. Church restarted,
Yeah.
without having to wear masks and be able to do singing and stuff. So it kind of the middle of the year felt pretty positive in terms of church life and opportunities and just general sort of cultural life and family life and everything was feeling pretty normal. And then although the restrictions are not terrible at the moment, it kind of feels like it's reversed back into this slight gloom and darkness again. which I think emotionally it's just quite hard to kind of go through again. It's a bit like the second lockdown in November about a year ago was worse than the first lockdown in March.
Yeah.
This kind of threat of a third lockdown just feels difficult.
Yeah.
The good thing is it teaches you to trust God, teaches you to realise you're not in control, and that you're very influenced by external. So it's good to learn that lesson again, but it's just hard to learn it again. So that would be my reflection on the year. It's kind of, the summer was quite liberated feeling, and it's not just that you want to, the convenience, because it's not that inconvenient lockdown in a way, but it kind of just it's kind of a shadow over church life and kind of all your plans. They're all provisional in a different way than they are. We know it's God's will whether we do this or that, but we are supposed to make plans with an assumption that unless we die, we'll probably make it. Whereas now, I think it's all provisional. Sorry, Mark.
No, and I think that's part of it, though. I think what has been is it feels like you're heading towards normality, but then you catch yourself and you realise it's not normal still. So although we've had much freedom in the sense of church being able to go back and sing and not wear masks, it's still not been as it was.
Yeah.
No.
Not everyone's been able to come back. There's still distancing. We haven't even been able to, we've not got refreshments going. We've not been able to do all the things that we would, and yet there has been lots that we've been able to do, which has been really encouraging, and there's been lots of good going on. And you just, and then you think back, summer holiday, we were all still, well, can you fly? Did you not? Then you realise it was all, you had all, you're having to still readjust holidays so you had a good holiday away, but it wasn't quite what you'd normally do because no one really wanted to go abroad because there's all these testings and costings that, so there's lots of, it was bizarre. It's been a bizarre year, isn't it, in lots of ways. I think I felt quite low at points, and particularly in this autumn term, just felt actually it's just been quite hard work. It's been there's been great points and highlights, and there's been lots to be thankful for, but it actually just felt quite wearisome. And I think now again you kind of feel like you're back in it. Here we go again. Where will we be? So I think there's been highlights, but I think speaking to friends as well, I think people have found it's been quite a tough season. I think particularly the last 6 months, because I think reflecting back, back in March 2019, when that first lockdown, churches were all talking about, when come May we'll have these big celebrations, or come June we'll have these. No one could imagine that we're still kind of not back fully as we were, March 2019. I don't think any of us could have even envisaged that. And I think that is a reflection. But as Graham rightly says, but we keep trusting in the sovereignty of God. We're growing in our faith. These testings and trials, are part of how we grow faith, deepen faith. We're having to learn to do things differently. And there's been blessings. I mean, Zoom actually has been a blessing to lots of reasons. It's enabled us to do stuff we'd have never thought of doing, connecting with missionaries around the world for prayer meetings. There's been lots of things different, which have been a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about you, Josh?
Yeah. Just following on from that, I guess, it was funny watching the announcement or the press conference the other night with Boris, and me and Lauren watched the whole thing, and there's just this massive sense of unease afterwards, and we realised, just talked it through, that it's almost feels like PTSD. It's it's like you're you kind of bet, like you said, there were high moments in the year where you try to let go of the angst and the anxieties and the depressive feelings that there were through those lockdowns, and then having somebody toy with that idea of bringing that back into your life, it shakes you a little bit, and it's like you have this is almost, it's like a dread, isn't it? It's like, not this again. And I think subsequent ones are harder. I think you're right, because you carry all the baggage of the earlier ones with you into them, and it's so that I felt that it's been a big year generally, though. I've obviously had Clay this year, and that was massive in my life and changed everything. And for us, I think the autumn has actually been wonderful in so many ways, especially since sort of November time, late November, we did our sort of sleep training thing with Clay, and that's changed our lives. And now we're just because the first bit of parenthood, as you know, is like survival. It's so intense, and we're in a nice spot now. Clay's nearly 7 months old, and we're just really enjoying him, and it's just really seeing him as a gift. And I don't know, it's a really nice spot we're in right now, so super thankful for that. And then big year with the band, even though we didn't get to play any shows really or do anything like that. But releasing the first album and everything was huge, and so yeah, thankful for that. So I see a lot of, I don't know, there's a strange context to 2021, but I see a lot of good in it, and I see a lot of blessing in it that I'm thankful for from God. So yeah, I don't know, it's been a mad up and down, hasn't it, really, in lots of ways, and I think it's always helpful to just reflect and be grateful. I think I know for me, because I know that so many people have struggled more or had really difficult circumstances, and I'm aware that God's been good to me in so many ways. So yeah, that would be my reflection on 2021, I think.
Yeah, nice.
What
I should say that this year, 2021, is the year that I officially became the smallest in my family.
oh man, that's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is tough.
Yeah, it is, you know.
Well,
Is that because Barney got bigger than you?
yeah.
So Barney is now, they're taller than me. You know, my eldest is now 6'4", the other one is 6 foot.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like a midget in my family. They
Mate.
tower over me.
Might be time to buy some. Well, you can get those like built-up shoes. That could help.
Yeah, I'm not worried by it myself. They enjoy delighting in,
I'm sure.
kind of mocking me over it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's downhill from here.
Significant
You're just going to shrink into your old age.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. I'm on the downward
You'll
way.
be like a raisin.
You know, running to glory.
Yeah, limping to glory.
Pretty much. You're not far wrong there, Josh.
I think it's probably worth saying I had one person who was quite close to me who died, and then my own mother who died last week. And it's been challenging emotionally, quite tiring emotionally. I was involved in another funeral, which was kind of with the background of this other person dying, and I was taking another funeral. So those things wear you out. They also test your faith. I had a similar experience to when my dad died, when my mum died, where we were sitting around and kind of asking questions like, my daughter was saying, well, so where exactly is she now? And having to think about it at a not a practical level, that's not the right way of putting it, more of a personal level. So I do teach about, what happens to us when we die. And we talked about this on the podcast, and awaiting the bodily resurrection and so forth.
Yeah.
It's just a bit more personal when somebody is close to you who dies in the room.
Yeah.
And you're kind of thinking, okay, so the body's there. What does this mean? And, it's not like I'm not upset at the same time, but I'm also trying to think. And it is really challenging. Every time I've been that close to death, I've had a combination of faith and unbelief almost at the same time. Like I really believe my mum is in glory, and then I really don't believe it at moments as well. And I just think there's just this shell here, and it's just that the body stopped working. So I haven't become a heretic, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have kind of faith and unbelief almost at the same time. It's really challenging.
Yeah.
Had the same experience with my dad, 2004, where you kind of thought, do I really believe this?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just this body here, and it's, stop breathing, and is there the soul and stuff, and so you have to take yourself through that again, really, and think, what do you believe? So I'm not saying you should experience it just to have this, but I think it is a good challenge to your faith, and I don't think we should think about death a lot, because I think the Bible talks about death a fair amount, but it talks about life as well, and beyond life. But I think it is good to be faced with it now and then, and kind of reset. But
yeah.
I don't know if you think anything, Mark, from a distance.
Well, no, I mean, I think it is good to talk about these things as well, isn't it? I think death is a reality for us all. But actually being able to speak personally and just talk about, and being real about our emotions as well, that it's actually just you expressing that, actually no, just working out whether this is real or not. Because sometimes we give the impression that, not intentionally, but well, everything's okay. It's okay for and particularly for us as Bible teachers. You're okay. But actually, no, we're wrestling with issues and struggles in our own faith as well, isn't it?
And other moments like sorry, it doesn't need to be a therapy session for me.
It's good.
Other moments like when I came home, I'm gesturing out my window here. my two neighbours are roughly the age of my mum, and they're still alive. And you have moments when you walk out your house and you kind of look at the two houses either side. You think these two ladies are I think it's fair to say they're not believers, and they're alive, and their relatives are visiting them, and particularly the one this side and stuff. And you're thinking, my mum's dead, and she's the same age. And you have moments of thinking, why did you organise that, God? Why isn't she still alive? Why isn't she still sort of in the background there for a few more years? Because there's many people that have lived longer than... Not many. People have lived longer than my mum.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to have those questions. I think if you stay with those questions, I think God has suddenly become not good. That's the wrong conclusion. But I think it's just human to think, oh, that doesn't feel fair in the moment.
Yeah.
And I need to kind of work through that and think, no, it is fair, and there's all kinds of things to think about. She is genuinely in a better place, and it's where she wanted to be. But also, God is looking at the whole of history and working out his purposes through all of that. And I trust that He's been good to her, and He's been good to me in that.
Yeah.
To be thankful for the years that I had known her, and all those sort of things.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't mean to disappear into this topic, but
no,
it's good to discuss it. And actually, it followed. We were having a conversation with in one of our other podcasts, which probably will be released after this one, with Jeremy Marshall. It's worth listening to about suffering and living with terminal illness, and just how that actually being open and honest with that, and with our fears and our concerns, doubts. Yeah.
But I think apart from my particular experience towards the end of this year, I think we all have moments of doubt, don't we? Mm-hmm. And it's quite how you express those, because I think if you kind of overdo it, then you just confuse everybody. But if you act as though you never have a moment of doubt, then I think you're being false. Mm-hmm. Maybe some people go through life without any doubt or any sin. All, but I'm not one of them.
I guess it's doubt is whether it's just the questions, aren't it?
Well, yeah.
In the sense of, it's not that you're doubting the truth of the gospel or the reality. It's the questions that come in, and let's face it, at these times, this is where the devil loves to get in there. He's just going to fire in those kind of questions.
Yeah.
Because actually, he wants us. The devil's big lies are God is not good, mm-hmm. and God is stingy, and He's going to ruin your life. And so at those moments where we're seeing the effects of a fallen, broken world, the devil's going to fire in those questions, which will resonate for a while, and we then we work those through of how. But we don't need to deny the reality that we're having to process that. It doesn't mean that we're doubting or throwing away our whole faith. We're just having to deal with the questions that naturally arise in these times.
Yeah, no, I think those are really... Thanks for sharing that, Graham, because I think it's personal and really helpful, and I think there'll be a number of people who are supported and encouraged by the words you said there. So, yeah, thanks for being willing to share it. Guys, should we have some presents? How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Can you direct us?
I don't know what's in them, and I don't know if it matters who opens it first. I know that mine...
Or do we open all at the same time?
Yeah, possibly all at the same time. I can tell you that mine is a sort of almost rectangular, squarish box.
They look very similar.
They do look similar, so I do wonder if we're rocking with the same gifts here. So maybe we should do it all at once. And if you're not...
It doesn't say love from anyone, it just says mark to open on ordinary.
Yes, and a date. Yeah, it's not very warm, is it? But
so we're going to open them all at the same time?
Yeah, let's do it all at the same time. And if you want to watch, go to the YouTube channel where it'll be live. Well, not live, but you'll be able to see it.
But for those who are not, we're opening wrapping paper, and we've discovered a box.
We all seem to have the same box.
Yeah.
Let's hope Isaac hasn't embarrassed us with really,
personal, inappropriate gifts.
Inappropriate gifts.
Oh man, it's got tape on it. Okay. I wonder if I need scissors.
Yeah, it's got parcel tape.
Oh, I've had a little glimpse inside. I'm loving it.
Oh gosh, I can't even get mine open.
Oh.
Oh wow. What a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Wow. It's got the logo and everything. Look at that.
We should all hold ours up in our right hand.
That is.
And that will make an amazing...
Don't forget the back.
Yeah.
It's for the thumbnail, is it?
Yeah,
Now,
all those sort of things.
is this that merchandise we're about to start selling?
Oh, good point.
That
Could
you
be.
can now have your own ordinary mug.
Can we do some retail or some? Do we have a store on cchh.org.uk?
Yeah, we should. We could have ordinary merchandise. We could get T-shirts printed, mugs.
How much would you
I'm
get?
loving
for
that.
a mug?
Millionaires.
How much is a mug worth?
Yeah.
How much is a mug worth?
I don't know.
£5.
£5's expensive for a mug.
All right, £1.
Well, probably £5 printed.
Yeah, probably.
You know,
That's a lovely gift.
that's not. That's good, isn't it?
Thanks,
hey?
Isaac, for sorting that out.
Yeah.
That is a loving. Thanks.
That is
Isaac.
good.
I hope he's got one himself.
Oh, he deserves one, doesn't he?
Yeah. Maybe he got himself one with our pictures on.
I hope not.
So as he's drinking, he's like, "Oh, the guys."
Well, that's great.
This is the moment to complain again that Isaac did use the bad picture review a few times.
Yeah, it's all right. He's allowed to.
He sort of mixed it up, but he used it every now and
I
then.
don't
I'm not
like
being funny,
you
but I
calling it
thought
the bad
Isaac looked-
picture. To be fair, I mean I'm allowed to call it that.
I didn't think it looked that bad. To be
Thanks.
honest,
That's
Josh.
all right. It's all-
I thought it looked
Yeah,
all
good.
right. I really enjoy the pictures. I'm hoping that I should ask Isaac for them because then I can put them on the Christmas cards.
Lovely. Now I want to
Oh,
see.
you want us on your Christmas cards?
Graham, I want you to
No,
put
just
this
me.
on your shelf
Just a
behind
picture
you
of
so
me.
that every time we do ordinary, there's a little ordinary logo there. Do you know what I mean?
Why are we not just drinking?
Well, we can.
Why are we not drinking
we
out of
definitely
them?
can.
Every
But I
week.
sort of feel like it should be in the frame every week. Yeah, look at that. Lovely.
Yeah, mine's nicely framed just under my on-air sign.
Really good.
Nice.
Wonderful times.
behind my
Really,
head.
though, Graham, I think with all the media stuff you do, you should have a bigger ordinary logo behind you, just so that when people are on, it just says ordinary.
It's true. I'll get a pop-up banner to go there.
Now you should get
Yeah,
one
little
that's
pop-up
like,
banner.
what is it? Like a fluorescent tube light one that you turn on.
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool.
Ordinary. And then people can ask you, why does it say ordinary? Oh, that's the podcast idea. Boom, numbers go.
That's my philosophy for
And we go
life.
from 5 listeners. We go from 5 listeners to 10 overnight.
So what's our advice to people over Christmas?
Yeah, let's have a little chat about that for the remaining few minutes. Have you got any? Because Isaac did ring me up before this. Was like, what's the plan? And he was saying, oh, maybe it'd be nice to do some recommendations because people have a bit of time off. So while I plug my laptop in for power, Mark,
Okay,
give me some recommendations.
Turkey or chicken?
That's not a that's more of a question than a recommendation, isn't it?
Well, I'm just kind of going through the recommendations. We're talking recommendations for...
I think it can be for
Well, I
anything,
think-
but if you have books or podcasts or, even if it's not
should we
Christian,
do
if
a
there's a
s-
film you think people should watch or a show, whatever.
Well, here's the question. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not?
Yeah, I'm sure you asked us this
Yes.
last year and you said yes.
I think it is.
I actually watched it this year with my kids. Definitely a Christmas movie. Definitely good. Loved it.
That's your first recommendation. Fair enough. Noted.
Yeah, I think the biggest recommendation is in all the festivities and fun is to make sure that the main thing remains the main thing. Jesus. That is the biggest recommendation. Then I can talk about other recommendations. Like,
But
for
is he the
example-
main thing of Christmas?
Controversial.
He should be the main
Says-
thing in our lives. So that works. But Christmas is a mixed festival. I don't know whether I should feel guilty that I'm going to church on Christmas morning, then spending the rest of the day eating, overindulging in food, chocolates, messing around with children and grandchildren,
Yes, you
playing
should.
games. Those are all things. Now, is that making Jesus the main thing? That's kind of making all those things the main thing. isn't it?
I think actually, Graham, that you should feel guilty, and that's terrible. And
What are you going to
really-
do?
Well, what I do every year, which is we obviously go to church and then we
Fast.
take time to read through the
Mark
whole
fasts.
gospel narratives and then finish.
How
with
is
reading.
Institutes? I thought you did on a Christmas afternoon.
Blimey.
And I'm a liar.
Chapter each.
Yeah. Yeah, my children have already read the Calvins. We're on to other stuff now.
I do agree with you, Mark. I was just being a little bit provocative because I think making Jesus the main thing in terms of how we think of the festival is good. But obviously, like a lot of things in life, we are enjoying the good things God has given us.
Absolutely.
And Christmas Day is a cultural festival where we enter into both the significance of the history of Christmas, the birth of Jesus, but we also enter into all the kind of the fun of the stuff that's only very, very remotely connected with Jesus, and that is more just a cultural festival stuff. And I don't think you have to feel guilty about enjoying those things, as long as you're able to enjoy them with thanks and enjoy them with some degree of self-control. and also think I'm doing this in a way that Jesus would be pleased with, in a sense. I think it's always worth thinking that.
Yeah.
But Jesus went to banquets and so forth, and was accused of being a bit too laid back about hospitality, I think. So I think we can enjoy all those things.
And I think we should. Feasting is part of it, isn't it? But I think it's when we detach it so much from Christ, as if it's like it becomes about family, and actually all those things are flowing from a thankfulness and a joy because Christ has arrived. And Christ isn't the bolt-on, but He is the reason why we're celebrating and feasting and delighting.
Yeah.
So we want to do those things well. We want to enjoy our mince pies with brandy butter.
Yeah.
But I think in a sense every meal is an anticipation of heaven.
That sounds like a whole podcast.
It depends who the cook was, but generally speaking, the fellowship of a meal together with friends and family is an anticipation of that's why it's the idea of a feast, isn't it? In Revelation, the banquet and everything.
The marriage feast.
It's all about celebrating together. It's not about a kind of meal for one, which could be of better quality even, but it's about eating together, feasting together.
Beautiful.
So think about that on Christmas Day.
Think about that. Stick that up your mince pie. And think about that. That's perfect.
Beautiful.
Okay. Well, I think that brings us to a lovely little conclusion there. Merry Christmas.
Sticking up your mince pie was a good note to end on.
It is a good note, isn't it? Have a lovely Christmas, everybody who's listening, and we'll be back again with more Ordinary in 2022. It's going to be an exciting year, hopefully.
And it will be just as ordinary in 2022 as it was in 2021.
You can bet on that. Take that to the bank. Except this time we're going to have mugs, so that's one.
But we will be drinking from mugs in the new year.
But so thanks for listening for another year, you listeners. We do appreciate that, and get in touch with us still. It's lovely to hear from you. Questions, topics for the new year. We'd definitely be interested to know what you'd like, what you didn't like so much, what you'd like to hear more of from us. That would be really helpful feedback for us to hear. So ordinary@cchh.org.uk is the email address to contact us on. But that's it, I reckon. Happy Christmas.